Hello again. It's Michael G. Bergen here, author of the Rutherford Chronicles. This series comprises fast paced, fact enhanced historical adventure novels about struggle, war, terrorism, resolve, survival, world travel, and romance. It should appeal to avid readers and history buffs alike. And if your ancestors witnessed any of the many crises of the 20th century, they become alive here. The Rutherford Chronicles documents the tumultuous journey of my family through the 20th century. It follows the lives of ordinary people, my grandfather, my father, and myself, thrust into extraordinary circumstances. The second book of the series is Empire and War. This adventure begins in October 1914 during the Great War of 1914 to 1918. The Germans captured Joe Rutherford and his mate Michael Bryan at Enetier in northern France. For Joe, married with two children, the 20th of October 1914 was the end of his war on the Western Front, 1 month and 1 day from when he and his three friends entered the war in the initial British trenches above the Aisne River. Naturally, the last thing an early Great War soldier expected was imprisonment, the most humiliating thing that could happen to any soldier during wartime. But there they were. Belligerent German guards, including fearsome Prussian Uhlan cavalry riders with swords and lances, jostled the disgraced prisoners towards a railway siding. There they were loaded into cattle cars for the long journey to Germany. After an arduous journey, they arrived at their first prisoner of war camp near Hamelin, northern Germany. The POWs settled into their harsh environment and a routine of hard work with 2 thin soup and black bread meals a day. That wasn't enough for a working man. So before long, hunger underlined their lives. In time, they welcomed deliveries of food parcels from the British Red Cross and the Order of St. John to add to their scant camp rations. Many prisoners received care packages from home too, which they shared. During the work week, the POWs were sent out from the main Stalag camp to various projects. They worked for the municipality, on farms, in forestry, or in satellite work camps. And to offset boredom, the prisoners played football on Sundays and even created a football league. When the weather forced them inside on Sundays, they watched cinema, played cards or board games, and exchanged stories. Joe was a raconteur, so his audience often asked him to entertain them with stories about his capture and life in the shallow early trenches of the First Battle of the Aisne. He also recalled their arrival at Saint Nazaire, Brittany, from Southampton, the train journey across France to the Western Front, and the race to the sea when the Allies sought to outflank the massive attacking German armies arriving through Belgium. Joe often met prisoners arriving from later battles and, taking notes, kept his companions informed on the war's progress. They even started gambling on the outcome of these battles. Their life in the camps wasn't easy, but they made the best of it and unanimously agreed that they were better off than those poor souls in the trenches. Joe and some companions moved from Hamelin to more POW camps in northern Germany, Celle and Soltau. Joe and Mike attempting escape once. But as the Great War dragged on, Germany's conditions gradually worsened. Starvation set in, and the final blow was the 1918 Spanish flu that decimated the troops, POWs, and citizens of the world alike. During his fevered lapses into semi-consciousness, Joe dreamed of his joyful homecoming from India, marrying Mary, and his life up to this horrific war. Eventually, under the care of German nursing sisters, he recovered. With armistice on the 11th of November 1918, the British POWs limped home as shadows of their former selves, but alive and free. The British Army established transit camps where the emaciated POWs were treated for illnesses and fed nourishing meals to help them regain their strength before returning to their loved ones.